Hi foodies! On today's episode, we're joined by a French-trained chef who is completely disrupting the way we eat tacos. We're talking about the woman behind the French taco phenomenon at her Michelin Bib Gourmand awarded restaurant, Taqueria Franco. We'll be tracing her journey from the elite high-pressure kitchens of the legendary Robuchon to the provincial roads of the Philippines on food tours with her aunt, and finally to her mission of providing exactly why women are the ultimate force in the professional kitchen. So sit back, relax, and let's grab a bite with Chef Miko Calo. Hi Chef, kumusta?
Good.
How's everything? How's life been
Early
lately?
for me, but good.
What's your normal work hours ba? Or
Well, I'm usually awake at like 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
8 or 9, but I'm just in bed. I answer emails or messages or whatever, and then I get out of bed at around 10 or
So ito medyo maaga to because roughly we start about...
yes, yeah, but then because like my day starts a little later, and it goes all night, and then I usually sleep at around 2 a.m. or 3.
Chef, can you give us like your normal day? Like the schedule of your everyday life as
okay.
Chef Miko Calo. Paano maging si Chef Miko Calo in a day?
No, right now kasi I don't have to go to service every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually filled with like meetings and answering emails, going to some social events at night. I make it a point to drop by Taqueria Franco at least 2 times in a week. There are times that I do service there, but I make it a point also that I'm not too like controlling. Because we have a head chef there, and that we really set it up to make sure that it runs without me.
Okay.
Because when I opened it, I had another restaurant that I was running. I mean, I was on the pass all the time. So that Taqueria Franco is being run by my business partners naman.
Okay, so do you miss it? Like, do you miss to be in the service every day?
Oh yeah. I like, the thing with me is I'm so chaotic. Like, if you look at my room, everything it's not neat. There's clutter everywhere, but the clutter is like sectioned.
Okay.
And when I look for something, I know it's
there.
Specifically there. So when it's not
still
there, I'm
cluttered.
like, who touched it? But if I don't look at my schedules and everything, I will forget things. But then that's the reason, I think for me, that's the reason why I thrive in the kitchen, because it's so regulated. And it's high stress all the time, because your deadlines are like by seconds or minutes, and you're making multiple decisions at the same time. But I think that for me kind of makes me focus more.
Yes.
So, and I like that. I like the regulated environment of the kitchen. Yeah, so
that's why
I think so. I mean, I like that it's creative. It's very creative.
Yes, it is.
But what also, aside from the creativity, what draws me into it is the discipline of it, because there are still rules to cooking that you have to follow.
may mga fundamentals pa rin
There's still fundamentals you have to follow. I mean, you still can't serve burnt steak, right?
Exactly.
Or like burnt fish.
Totoo.
Depends. I mean,
Depends sa style lang.
Yeah, but like, there are still fundamentals that you...
Chef, after a long day, what's your go-to food? Like
My go-to food?
yeah, like, what's your go-to comfort food after a very busy day?
It actually depends on what's in the fridge.
Okay.
It's really that. It's like...
So you still cook at the end of the day? Would you say?
Depends. There are times that I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna order a burger, or order from like a Chinese place, or but it takes time as well. You kind of want something fast. So it depends on for me, it depends on what's in my fridge. When I was living in Singapore, I don't know why, but I always made it a point that I had parmesan or pecorino, eggs and pasta all the time, and bacon all the time.
There's
in
an
the fridge.
interview that said that you like carbonara.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So that because for me it's very easy.
it's very easy. Yeah.
It's like a no-brainer. So I always made it a point that I had that.
Yeah, that.
But like now here, in our house, there's always rice. We always make it a point to like to cook a big batch and put it in the chiller so that we can just heat it up when we need to. So usually, it's a no-brainer food. It's usually like fried rice, and then I have like tuna and then like some soy sauce and then some egg and
It's like a
some
quick
laugan
stir
ma.
fry.
Yeah, and some laugan ma and you're good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It's a
That's it.
nice,
Yeah.
like an after
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
After day.
Yeah.
So they sarap na lang.
It's just, and then I like to eat and like put it in a bowl and eat it. I'm so used to that. Like, that's how
Especially
we
if you
eat.
worked in the
That's how
kitchen,
we eat. Yeah. That's how we eat in the kitchen. Usually bowls.
Bowls, yeah. The stainless bowls.
Yeah.
I've been out of the pass or like out of the kitchen for a
Yeah.
long time now. The last time I was in the kitchen, I would say mga pre-pandemic 2019. That was the
Okay.
last time I was in the kitchen working professionally as a cook, but right now it's very different. I kind of miss it though.
Yeah.
That's why I asked a while ago if you miss
Yeah.
being in the past.
Yeah.
I do miss the
Yeah.
I do miss the service.
Yeah.
But
It's one of those things, it's because each service is different. Even
Yes.
if you're serving the same food,
totoo.
something happens.
Or every day you get to solve a different problem.
Yes. Yeah.
There's
yeah.
always
Yeah.
I mean there's repetitive in what you do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day it's always there's a challenge.
There's always a challenge, and it's always nice to kind of like overcome that challenge as a team as well.
Yes.
Especially if it's like one of those days where things just start to go wrong.
And everything's gonna go wrong. I
Yeah.
mean, Chef, have you experienced it that you had a really good, like a good service?
Yeah.
Like a really good, flawless service.
Yeah. There are a lot of days that it's flawless service, but it doesn't mean that it's not stressful.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that like there are voices aren't raised.
Yes.
But it's a good service in a way where things didn't go wrong. Not a sauce that's split. There's no overcooked whatever. Everyone is on the ball, and like the whole team is just
On their A game.
really locked into each
Yes.
other. And there are services that are just completely complete shit shows. Like everything is just one thing happens in there's like a whole kind of like avalanche effect of the whole, like things that start to go wrong, and then you're just like putting out fires everywhere.
Chef, since we're talking about, things going wrong, now we know that you've worked with Chef Joel Robuchon before. And could you give us like maybe I wouldn't say the worst, but like the hardest experience that you got while working with him? Like, was there a service na sobrang sama talaga? Like,
well,
it was too much for you.
No, and not really, because number one, Monsieur Robuchon, he did not do service. He would come in. We would have like, oh my god, 18-hour days when he's there, because he starts very early. So what happens is he has breakfast with the heads, so our head chef and then his compagnons. So he has compagnons, meaning he has his like executive chefs who go around with him to all the Robuchons to check on quality, to make new dishes, to make a new menu, to change the seasonal menu, things like that. So so when they have breakfast, us, the sous, the junior management, will have to be in the kitchen to set up everything. So we have our lists of things that they're gonna work on for the day. It's usually recipes and
The preps and
the
everything.
prep and everything, and you have to have the vegetables, and you have to make sure it's clean and properly put in proper containers. You can't just like have a bowl there and a metal container here. You don't do that. So everything, and then you have to set up their chopping boards and all that, and then they come in, and then the breakfast will dictate the whole day. If something goes wrong in breakfast,
Oh.
like the whole day is a little bit more stressful.
Stressful, yeah.
Yeah.
So mas may tension na.
Yeah,
Breakfast
there's a
pa
lot
lang.
of tension na.
Okay.
And then, when he arrives, before he arrives, we're told that he's arrived. Like, usually it's the head chef who tells us, like, we're coming to the restaurant just for us to make sure that the restaurant is clean. Because he's very meticulous as well. He will touch everything, all the, if there's like,
Everything, yeah.
water on the floor, you have to.
So he's very detailed.
Yeah. And it's also like, for us, what they would do is police the cooks to make sure that their sections aren't messy, that they're working properly. It's not like, peeled stuff and it's all just there, and you cannot do that. Like,
I would say he's very French disciplined.
Yes,
Like
yes.
yeah.
And which I appreciate,
Okay.
because like that discipline, I have taken on that kind of work style for me and the kitchens that I have. Like, I prefer it that way. Difficult. Whoa. It's usually, maybe there was this. Okay, I was in Singapore, and he decided it was F1.
Okay.
So he decided, out of the blue, Oniva, we will make the food for the flight of the French team. So it was gonna be, we were gonna pack the
So
food.
on the flight, that was on the flight.
Yeah,
Okay.
and give it to them so that's what they're gonna eat on their flight.
Okay.
And we were told that in the evening, in the middle of like in the middle of dinner service.
Okay.
And usually, if it's dinner service, F1, Mr. Robuchon is there. The restaurants are so full.
Yes.
Like, you're
Busy. Literally
as in
busy.
like
Yeah.
like wala nang paninda
Totoo,
type,
totoo.
So one of his executive chefs went and said, Lawrence, Oliva, blah blah blah, and I was one of the few people who understood French. So they were talking in French. I was in my section. I was in the meat section. So I was cooking, and then I heard Mr. Braun say, "We will let's go. You go check all your stock and see what we can make for, I think, 32 packs."
Okay.
Because it's the whole team.
Yes.
Because Mr. Robuchon decided, he told the French team that we will send them packed food. For their flight. What can you get for 32 packs now? And I'm like, puta kita. So
Well, for the listeners and viewers, 32 packs, pag ganun ka busy, madami yun. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot. Hindi siya parang konti yun.
No, it's not, because of course it's at night na.
Yes.
Wala ka nang like
Stocks
you're
are
closing.
running low.
Yeah, stocks are running low, and you're closing shop. So we have to check. So he asked me, what do we have, blah blah blah, and I said, we still have our beef cheeks, we just need to make the sauce. Okay, so we need to make the sauce. And he goes, he also said he wants salad. So maybe what can we do? Like, we can't just give just salad greens.
Yeah.
So he goes, do you have lobster? And I'm like, yeah, because we had the tank, but you don't put 32 lobsters
Yes,
there. So we
exactly.
had, and then it's like evening na. So
Yeah.
what do you do?
Stress.
So stress. So we said yes, we can. So I had to call the supplier and say, hey, Awi, please.
Really, at night time?
Yeah,
Okay,
can you
that
send us maybe 12 or 15 lobsters the next day? So we did like, I think we did like half a lobster per salad.
Okay.
The thing is, we didn't have enough salad greens because it's not like we do.
You stock it a lot.
We stock a lot.
Yes,
we
yes.
don't kasi. So I had to look for salad. So my head chef was like, so where do we get salads? I go, I have a 24-hour cold storage. I have a 24-hour cold storage near my place. I can go check if they have salad. So I get there at like 1
1 a.m.
1 a.m.
Okay.
After
After
we had to
service
yeah.
first, and then wow.
And I was on a video call with my chef, like, these are the only things you have here. He goes, get it all. I'm like, okay, so I got everything, and the next day I brought it to work early in the morning because we had to pack everything. And then the executive chef, Mr. Bron's like, hey, Lawrence, the salad is bad. It's
Okay.
like really ugly salad, dude. Can we
It's late already.
Yeah.
So what would you expect?
And then he goes, and then, we just bought that last night.
Mm.
And he goes, really? Who bought this? Who chose this? And then my chef was like, Miko bought it. Oh, does she know how to buy salad? And I'm like, and instead of like, I got so pissed off because instead of my chef telling him that's all we could find, and I told her to buy it, he just goes, oh, je suis désolé, monsieur. Like, he was just saying, like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So imagine you can pinotek.
Yeah.
Outside, yeah.
And I'm just like, but then I said, so I interjected talaga, and I said, like, monsieur, sorry, but it was 1 a.m.
Yeah.
in a 24-hour grocery store. That's all I could find. And I said, and he approved it.
Okay.
So I'm like, don't put me under the bus. Don't throw me under the bus. But one of those things. So that whole day, that whole morning, we were packing 32 of the lobster salad, 32 of the beef cheeks, and the Robuchon mashed potatoes. But then,
what time was the flight?
it was, I remember we had to send it out before lunch service, which lunch was 11 a.m.
Okay.
And we had reservations for lunch.
For lunch, yeah. So you had to prep it for that too.
No, that was separate prep from lunch prep.
From
so
lunch prep, yeah.
everyone was just going crazy. And then of course we had to send them the mashed potatoes. But the mashed potatoes is full of butter.
Yeah.
And you have to heat it up in a microwave, which you cannot heat that up in a microwave. So we had to like change the formulation and test it in the microwave.
So on the fly that night.
On the fly that day.
That day.
That morning.
Before sending it out. Wow.
So it was a separate. It's a separate
second R&D. So basically it's a service on R&D and a.
So parang, I think that was very stressful, but we got through it. And during lunch service, prep wasn't complete, so all the cooks, the commies and the CDPs were all like, I need this, because at that point, I would be around to support the whole kitchen, and like if there are things that they can't do, I have to know how to do it.
Yes. That was an interesting story. So
there's a lot of that.
I bet there's a lot. I don't think one episode would actually fit to talk about your whole experience. That would be fun to put it in like an anecdotal book or something. Actually,
because it's a lot, and it's a lot of like.
Have you ever thought of making a cookbook? That would be like one part.
Oh God.
That would be like a great idea. Half part cookbook, half part your anecdote stories regarding all your experiences.
The thing with most of the recipes, if you look at like the recipes that I have, there's no procedure. It's literally just this. And then, so what happens is, like, let's say I tell my sous chef, like, this, cut this like this, do this, and then either we do it together, or I tell them, do you remember when we did this? Yes, chef. Okay, do it like this, but use this.
Okay.
So usually,
So that's how you
procedures.
do your
Yeah.
cooking
Yeah.
style.
And I make things and I kind of like forget how I make them. And then like somebody will go, oh, remember when you did this sauce? I'm like, no. But it had this. And I'm like,
So once you
no.
put it out, that's about it.
Yeah, sometimes like so like I have to make a conscious effort, especially when I'm doing like real R&D. Like
Yes.
I need to write
To
things
standardize it.
down.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's a
and
funny
then of
approach.
course because you have to do costing and all that. But
Everything,
like
yes.
when it's on the fly and you're just cooking, like I do things and especially like my cousins are like, Mick, remember when you did this? Can you do that again? And I'm like, I don't remember. And sometimes I have to ask them like, what did I put? And he
Yeah.
goes, oh, you said you put this. And I'm like, okay.
Most likely you have an
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
but-
yeah. But then there are
Interesting.
things naman na parang, oh my God, like, I have to write this
That's
down.
very nice. Especially to standardize it for the
Yeah,
restaurants.
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. So chef, let's talk about your inspirations and how you became a chef. So what was the food like in your household growing up? I mean, like, what's the earliest food memory that you have?
Wow. Earliest food memory. I grew up surrounded by women who cook. um, I used to live in my grandmother's house. It was a big, there was a lot of stuff. My grandmother at that time was a governor, so there were a lot of people in our house. Um, but I remember most likely my earliest memories are sitting in the dirty kitchen, surrounded by women who are cooking.
Okay.
Some of them my titas and some of them are household staff. And I would just be sitting with my yaya somewhere, sitting there. There's this like container of salt. And I'm just there picking up the salt and just like really eating it. And there were two types, or maybe like two containers of salt. But I remember noticing that one container tasted different from the other. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just me,
Uh-huh.
but I still remember that. But yeah, I think that's like one of the earliest memories of being in the kitchen
Being in the
that I
kitchen.
have. But my lola used to cook. He would cook like she would cook a really mean adobo. And
Love that.
but I'm from Mindanao, so we have this. She would also make this dish called inununan.
Inununan. Okay.
Inununan is really paksiw na isda. But we call it inunon or inununan, and it's usually made from I forgot the Bisaya word for it. Mangko. It's the fish mangko.
Okay, mangkok. Parang tulingan.
Yeah,
Change of
yeah,
tulingan.
yeah. So, and it's like oily and kind of fatty.
sarap.
Yeah. So, it would just really be vinegar, salt, a little bit of garlic.
Alright.
Or maybe no garlic. Some people put garlic, but I don't think my lola used to put garlic. So, vinegar and salt. And just let it boil, let it stew up. And then she would just leave it for like maybe a day
Okay.
to let it age.
Yes, yes.
And then when we have it, the meat turns a little pinkish already, and it becomes kind of cured, and then like the vinegar has been cooked down, and it has the fattiness of the fish,
Yes,
and
yes.
it's just
The oiliness.
and then the oiliness of the fish, and you just have it with like hot rice, and it's so good. And then and then my lola taught me how to eat the inununan, and then the sauce you put on your rice, and you get the rendered pork fat.
Ooh, sarap.
You put a little bit of that. It's just wow.
Yeah, that's
Like
really good.
one of those things that are like, I can still remember how it tastes like. It's one of those. It's so good.
So that was
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
your
One of the earliest, yeah. One of the earliest.
So was that the one that pushed you or inspired you to be a chef? You say?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like growing up, really, I was surrounded by that with food. Like I remember, like a lot. I would go to my tita's house. Another tita's house. They would roast, and make their own tablea.
Wow.
And I would help them put it into shapes using that polvoron.
Yeah, the polvoron mold.
Yeah. And she's still, I mean, she's still,
So, yeah.
it's actually she and her husband still make one of the best tableas in Butuan. And I think maybe, I'm biased, but maybe the whole of the Philippines. But like, she still makes, they still make. And I always, like when I go home, I make it a point, like I visit them. Usually they have something in their house.
How often do you go back to Butuan?
As often as I can. As often as I can.
What's one dish from Butuan that Manila Dish Me needs to discover? Something I'd like to know. Kasi, again, Mindanaoan food is something na hindi pa masyadong na-explore.
From
Starting
Butuan,
to be known
okay.
here.
Us Butuanans, we're very proud of our food. But it's also not very well known.
Yes.
I think, a lot of people will probably disagree with me, but I think Butuan lechon is one of the best.
Butuan lechon.
Yeah.
What makes it different?
It doesn't have the well, let's see. It's just very normal. Like you have a lot of lemongrass, a lot of garlic, a lot of red onions, a lot of atsal. Atsal is the local bell peppers, the long ones. Okay. For some reason, the local bell peppers there tastes very different from the local bell peppers you can buy here. It's really different.
How is it? Is it?
It's
spicy?
more savory.
Savory.
It's more savory and it's more spicy.
Spicy, okay.
Than the ones that you can buy in the supermarket here. Okay. And then even the lemongrass there is different. It's more fragrant and it's stronger in flavor as well. And a lot of onion leeks. No. And then you just stuff it with that and a lot of salt and pepper. Some lechoneros will what do you call this? Bathe the pork.
Yes.
When it's dry, they brush it with some evaporated milk.
To give
and
color,
some,
right?
Yeah, and some will do, I think Coca-Cola. I'm not sure.
I've seen some videos.
But like
Coca-Cola.
the ones I know, the lechoneros in Butuan, they usually use evaporated milk.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it has to be carnation. Yeah.
I think
which is hard.
Parang napanood ko yun one time kasi parang mas maganda ata yung caramelization niya. Caramelization niya.
Yeah, so
very high sugar content ata siya something.
So that's one of the things we're very proud of.
Hot take though, I have to say, like pinaka-boring na lechon sa buong Pilipinas yung Manila. I always want to say.
Yeah.
Like I have to say, like kung hindi pa kayo nakaka-try ng lechon sa probinsya. Like sobrang boring ng Manila lechon.
Well, that's a thing because I think also the way lechon is treated in the north is completely different. Like I also grew up eating Kapampangan food because I grew up with my aunt who's married to a Kapampangan and they have like an ancestral home in Arayat, Pampanga. Who until now it's my cousin who has taken over that house. It's already his house now.
Okay.
And he is the cook in that house now is fifth generation already of the same line of cooks.
Wow.
Ever since
okay. So
they had
yung lineage talaga na. Sila tagaluto talaga.
Yeah. So I grew up understanding Kapampangan food in that aspect. I mean in that world of Arayat, Pampanga. And their recipes are so traditional. The oldest part of the house is the kitchen, and they still cook in the same wood-fired
Yeah.
like stove.
Yung parang yung
Parang,
panggato.
oo,
Yes,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So the main thing, the main difference is the lechon in Luzon, or particularly maybe in Pampanga, is a vessel for the lechon sauce.
Yes.
So people, um, well, the lechon sauce is king. You know, so you have to have your own. You can be known for the kind of lechon sauce, I guess, that you have in your family recipe or whatever. So the lechon itself doesn't have a lot of flavor because you're looking at the sauce.
The sauce, yeah.
That's why. My cousin nga would say, like, if you go to a Kapampangan's house and you get served Mang Tomas, some other Kapampangans will just raise their eyebrows and be like, bakit, you know? But that's one of those things that's they take pride in the lechon sauce.
Lechon sauce.
And it's a process. Like I've watched them do it. It's a process.
Yes.
And I enjoy it so much. Like, so ever since I was in high school, we would have like that lechon sauce be brought to our house, and then have it with like even lechon kawale and all that.
And then paksiw afterwards.
Well, yeah.
That's what's that.
Yeah.
Yung ginagawa sa lechon
Yeah,
sauce.
yeah. And then down south, the lechon has to be flavorful.
Yes.
Because we don't use sauce. We don't have lechon sauce. It's usually just suka.
Yes, a vinegar.
Yeah. So you have to have very good.
Observation,
Yeah, very
Tama,
good.
tama.
So it's a different it's a different practice lang
Practice.
of
Lechon.
lechon. Yeah.
Yeah, kasi flavorful talaga pag bandang
Yeah,
South.
yeah.
Cebu,
Oo.
Mindanao, and
Yeah.
But that's the one thing I noticed because my girlfriend's from Davao. So every time na pupunta ako doon, tapos may lechon, malasa talaga. Malasa
Yeah.
talaga yung lechon.
Iba yung ano. So it's almost similar. Davao, Cagayan de Oro, Butuan City, and all that. Yeah. But us Butuanans are just really like, our lechon is better. But, you know, depends.
Okay.
You have rice, coconut, and sugar. These are like the three basic ingredients that you have. But how amazing it is when people can actually produce different kinds of dessert of kakanin just from these three basic ingredients.
Learn more about these regional delicacies and delicious sweets here on Desserts of the Philippine Islands. Catch all the episodes on our YouTube channel, Bitesized.PH. So, Chef, for those who don't know, one of your aunt is the late Susan Calo.
Yes.
She's one of the OG travel journalists
She
here in
is
the
the OG.
Philippines. And
She is the OG.
I heard that you were able to join her in some of her tours as a
because
kid.
I grew up with her. So when I moved to Manila, she took me in. I lived with her and her husband, and of course my cousins. So there are times like during the summer, after school, we'd go. She would take us with her to
different
Usually
locations
it's a beach trip.
here.
So the first time I went to Siargao was in 1993 or 4, and Siargao wasn't like that. Siargao
was a
only
long time
had
ago, yeah.
So Siargao only had this one resort, which is more of like a surfer's resort, called the Green Room. We stayed there. And it was just, and the jetty was just like, you know, wooden, handmade.
Yes.
And I met some like champion surfers who were there. It was so beautiful. It was so untouched as well. It was really like, you know, I don't even remember, like, it was just really simple food.
Yes.
And then I remember going to different barangays. we would take a boat with a crew, and then like we would be welcomed in the barangay for like breakfast, and it would be tuba and lechon for breakfast.
For breakfast.
Yeah.
Wow. Tuba and lechon.
Tuba. So when
What
we
a
get
combo.
there, we get there, they give us tuba. There's lechon, of course, there's fish somewhere, there's and then we spend a little time there, and then we go to the next one. I think it was like 2 or 3 barangays. I don't remember anymore, but I remember that. I remember like stepping out of a bangka and then going into like usually it's like one of those little beach huts.
Yes.
And then it's that. And then we also one summer we went to Palawan, but we started
So you traveled the whole Palawan. Wow.
Yes, I think so, because
So from northern Palawan
north
to
to south kami, or the other way around. I'm not sure. But
So ganun
it was
talaga
like-
yung mga trips na
Yeah, and
so
it was
once you go
really
to
like,
an island, you're literally
and
integrated.
yes, and it's really, it's not one of those luxurious trips. It's really like you kind of
Being one
just
of the locals.
you rough it as well
Okay.
in a way, because it's not like all the time you're in a van and it's whatever. So we ride tricycle or whatever, and then help the crew, because it's
Yes.
a small crew. It's like help them like bring maybe the battery or the lights or whatever. Yeah. And then the first time I went to Boracay was in like the early 90s pa. I was like 12. Yeah. And Boracay did not have electricity.
Yeah.
It was generator lang. So I think like
Very bare pa sila.
yeah, very bare pa. Oo. It was like beautiful. So and
It's interesting that you got to see that. I mean,
Yeah.
Boracay is still beautiful now.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it's completely
to experience
different.
it
Yeah.
on that's during that time.
Yeah.
Iba talaga yun.
And also, the other thing was, Tita Susan kasi didn't just go to like tourist destinations. If you do watch her old shows, it wasn't just about, it's a beautiful beach.
Yeah.
It's a study on culture and our history and our food. And then she would go to places and witness a wedding in a some wedding, like those traditional
Yes.
weddings.
She was really showing what the community was doing.
Yeah, and sometimes would discuss like something like our traditional dances, our traditional weaving, and she would feature Gawad Manilikha awardees, and so it wasn't just a travel show. She would travel to go to these places, but she also reminds us like there's more to this than just
Traveling.
going to the beach and looking at the sunset and taking a photo, and that's it. It's really kind of like really getting to know your culture and reminding you that being Filipino is so layered as well. And I was that's why I'm very lucky to have grown up like that, because if we don't go to all her travels, when she would come back, she would bring stuff with her, either food or an antique malong or something like a bulol, and would tell us like, I got this from this person who was something or other. Like she would tell us stories behind it, and it's valuable information as well.
Would you say that this experience actually helped you shape how you see Filipino food right now?
Yes, yeah, definitely. It helped me become the Filipino that I am. It's not just Filipino food. It's because for me, I cannot separate Filipino food from my culture and my identity and my heritage in a way. But being Filipino is very personal to me. So it's very much intertwined in everything that I do. Even when I was abroad and when I was in school in France, when I would learn their traditional food, it would always remind me of things that we do. Like the first time I experienced making lièvre à la royale. So this is rabbit or hare
Okay.
that is marinated in red wine, but braised in its own blood. And I'm like, this is dinuguan.
This is
This is really just dinuguan, but instead of just suka,
yeah.
you put red wine.
Right, yeah.
But essentially, it's the same. So for me, it also demystified French cuisine to me. It brought it a few notches down because it's not like that is when I really kind of realized that it's not superior. It's just because it's been standardized
Yes.
and it's been practiced
This.
and it's been well documented and it's Western. So it's for me, it's also kind of like the colonial mentality or a colonial upbringing, that it's not even a conscious thing, it just you grow up thinking that way.
Yeah.
Which
Mas
is
okay yung Western.
colonialism.
Chef, that's true. I think the reason why French cuisine is, known around the world, because I guess it's much more organized in a way that they systematize.
Yeah.
There's a system for it, or they systematized it. I would say.
Yeah. So it's that. Also, it's like, even the professional kitchen, they
Yes.
kind of like
Follow that.
they kind of were the ones who kind of put together the framework
The
for
framework. Yes. Yes.
which makes sense. And I always work with the brigade system. But like for me, yun nga, when I went there and studied there, I learned a lot. Yes, it was very good training ground for me. But that was also the time that really demystified this whole thing for me, because it's like the only difference is it's well documented.
Yes.
And it's well marketed.
Agree. Like for us, mas madam, I mean, I have to say, Filipino cuisine, hindi lang kasi tayo lahat, well, hindi siya na-document, but we have tons of cooking methods that have been used throughout the years. Different regions have their own way of cooking stuff.
Yeah.
Which, if we'll be able to document it really well and then organize it, maybe we'll have our own system of cooking then.
Yeah, and parang for me, it's not even that. It's like there's a lot of similarities. It's just ingredients that are different, because our landscape is different. Our seasons are different. But the way we in Mindanao or in North, like in Butuan or in the neighboring areas, the way we use coconut milk is very similar to sometimes how the French use cream. Because like we have food that's like, let's say we simmer in coconut milk, but at the end we put the first press. We finish it with the first press of the coconut milk.
Yes.
And heat it up and take it out. There are dishes in French dishes wherein you braise or you fricassee or you cook with cream, and then at the end you add fresh cream, mix, and then serve.
Exactly.
Or at the end you add your creme fraiche, and then
Pretty much
mix
the
it.
same
It's the same. It's just a different ingredient. When they blanch things, they say like you cook it à l'anglaise, or which is boiling, or like you monde, because you're just blanching it. To us, it's in Bisaya, it's pinakurat, which is halabos, or halabos is steaming. But like, how we have a cooking method called pinakurat, not just the
suka.
not that suka, but it's really just quickly blanching, or even just pouring hot water in it, or sometimes quickly blanching it in hot water with a little vinegar and a little salt. Usually it's shrimps,
Shrimps,
or prawns. That's
Oysters, I
fresh.
think. Parang ginagawa namin sa house.
Yeah.
Parang
Oysters.
ganon,
Yeah. There you go. Ganon. So, it's, all these things. And I'm like, I'm also very glad that my knowledge of and my love for Filipino food and my knowledge of Filipino food was so strong and I had a very good solid foundation of it before I left, because instead of me getting so enamored by the whole French training, it kind of solidified what I already knew about my cuisine, which I think is very important. It doesn't, like, don't get me wrong, I love the cheeses. I love the way they make their sauces. I love, I adhere to the techniques that they have. I love cooking with butter. All these things, but it doesn't.
Butter makes everything great.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Yeah, but learning all that did not diminish my kind of the foundation, the Filipino foundation, the Filipino DNA that I have.
Chef, let's talk about Taqueria Franco.
Okay.
So on paper, you're a Robuchon trained fine dining chef opening a taco joint. Now,
Okay.
that is very, very unexpected. Siyempre, coming from a fine dining.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us more about Taqueria Franco and how did you open it?
Okay, so a little background is when we opened Taqueria Franco, I still had Metronome.
Yes.
I was still in Metronome. Taqueria Franco, the concept and the idea is actually not me.
Okay.
I have my business partner, who's also my cousin. That's actually his brainchild. And he's the type who will think about those things and who, because I would, the way I think, it's hard for me to step out of that box and think that way. He's an advertising guy and he's a creative.
Yes.
So, it started with a conversation we had. We ate somewhere and then we were just in the office in Metronome late at night. The kitchen was closing up. And he goes, if you were to make it, because he likes tacos.
Tacos again.
He goes, if you were to, and also he lived in New York for a while. So he's like, so if you were to make a taco, what would you do? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, because my experience with Mexican food is just in the States. I've never been to Mexico. My experience with it is just in the States, and secondhand stories. My cousin, our other cousin, used to live in Mexico naman. And he would just make cuento. So I'm like, I actually have no idea, because I cannot pretend to be like, oh, I'll make a carne asada and this is the
Authentic
because
carne asada.
I don't have that experience. So he goes, okay, fine. So if you had to make a taco with everything that's here right now, what would you make? And I said, I'll most likely, with everything here and thinking about my kitchen, I'd most likely make a beef bourguignon birria. And then the tortilla would not be corn, because there's no corn here. It would be wheat-based or flour tortilla. And he goes, oh, okay. And he goes, that's interesting. So, he goes, so lahat ng taco mo will be French leaning.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, because
So we have.
That's what we have,
And that's what
and
I know.
that's what I know, and
Yeah.
that's what is easy for me. He goes, so French tacos. Oh, that's interesting. Blah blah blah. And then the next day or the day after, he goes. He called me and he goes, "You have time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's before service." He goes, "Okay, I'll send you something." And he sent me the logo of the dog, and it says Taqueria Franco. And I'm like, I don't know. He goes, imagine, da, 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 da. And he gave me like he after that he sent me like a sample menu
Uh,
of like very French leaning things um and then he goes Franco because you know if you like French things, what are you, a Francophile?
uh,
And also Franco is French tacos, Franco, and things like that. And I'm like,
smart.
okay, so that's actually all his,
Okay.
and I made the food for it. But the branding and the concept and like the whole idea, the even, you know, the irreverent the irreverence of it. It's the going against the grain,
Yes,
kind
yeah.
of.
Going against the norm.
Going against the norm and really just like making people think, what the fuck is this? Like, you know, it took a while for people to actually understand because there are times that they're like, oh, you know, I went to Taqueria Franco because I love Mexican food. I went there. It's not authentic at all. There's no French. And we're just like, yeah. You know,
That's the
because
point.
that's
That was
the
the
point.
point,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was, but it's that. So it's him. It like when he did that, like he told me like, can you make the food for it? So for me, it was a struggle as well because like even the tortilla, I had to think about it because I knew that I wasn't gonna make corn tortillas. And I had to think about it because at that point it's like all French leaning tacos. And there are French tacos. If you and then
Okay.
it's like one of those like fast food type of things.
Okay, gets.
And the French taco actually looks like a flat burrito.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So parang crepe.
Para
And
siyang,
crepe.
oo, para siyang flat burrito.
Flat
So,
burrito, okay.
but they call it the French taco.
French
But
tacos.
for me, it was like, I have to think about everything. So that's when I had to think about like the tortilla shell itself. That's when I decided let's try and kind of like get the idea of a galette, which is the
Yes,
savory, where you have your blé noir, buckwheat.
Okay.
Yeah, buckwheat.
Buckwheat, yeah.
Yeah. So I use like it's a mixture of buckwheat and normal flour, and the buckwheat I ferment so that it gets like a little bit of a sourness to it.
Yes, yes. Galing.
And that's the first thing I kind of really worked on.
Worked on, yeah.
And when I got that, that's why even our taco, it's not like a typical soft tortilla. It's a little bit savory and it's, you know, it has a kind of like sourdoughish feel to it. Yeah, so when I got that recipe down, and kind
That's
of
where you started
that's when
working
I started working on
From the other menu.
yeah, the first menu item I made is a lamb bourguignon birria
Birria.
because I also
Amazing.
love quesadillas. So that's the first thing.
I love
made.
how
Yeah.
I love how the story of Taqueria Franco started.
Yeah,
I'm really
yeah.
enjoying the story kasi normally when you ask these type of questions to chefs,
Yeah.
sometimes you know they really do like a deep dive into
Yeah,
like
yeah,
there was a
yeah.
business plan regarding
Yeah,
it, the
yeah,
idea
yeah.
was this. And to think that you've won a Michelin Bib Gourmand on that story, like,
Yeah.
that makes it much more amazing. It kind of shows the whole personality of the vibe of the
Yeah,
restaurant.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Out of the blue,
Yeah.
going against the norm.
Yeah, going against the norm. It was just like, you know, so it was a struggle to make people understand, but like, I mean, you know, we're here now, so yeah.
Okay. So, chef, since we're talking about the
Yeah.
Michelin Bib Gourmand, congratulations on winning that. Can you walk us through the moment you found out that, you know, you've basically been part of
Oh,
The Michelin Awards.
honestly, this is no bullshit. Like, really no bullshit. I did not expect that. So, yes, I was invited to the awarding. So, I was thinking, like, at
So you
most...
never thought of Taqueria Franco as a potential candidate for any of the awards when you
No, not really. We were told there was gonna be Michelin and there's gonna be inspections and all that. But then when I was invited to go, I was thinking, oh, at least we're gonna be part of the book. Like you're like a Michelin select or like a Michelin recommended or whatever. Because like there are places where it's like it's Michelin selected, so meaning like you've been inspected and you're doing a great job in what you're doing in the realm that you are in right now. So that was the first like group of awards.
Yes.
And I was just with my friends. I was I was with everyone else who got Michelin stars. So I remember beside me was Josh.
Okay. Interesting.
And behind us, or no, beside him was Nico and Queenie.
Okay.
And then this side was Jordy and Jay. But it's all
Michelin.
yeah, all Michelin stars. And I was just there and I was like, because I knew that, even like Taqueria Franco will not get a Michelin star. It's not in the same category or whatever. But I was just glad that, I'll be part of the book. Because that's like the least that you can expect since you got invited, right? So when they started announcing blah, 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 all the select, we weren't there. So I'm like, okay, better luck next time. So at least we know, right? Yeah. So I was just really there cheering on my friends. So when Bib Gourmand came, when they called Taqueria Franco, like the first thing that I said was, what the fuck? Like, I was just really like, what the fuck? What? Because I could not, I really did not expect it. Like, no bullshit. So it was just that. And I was like, you walk up the stage and
Get the award.
you get the award. It's a little bit of a blur. And like what I did, because I had my residency in
Shangri-La.
No, in Newport that time.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was gonna be like a small after party hosted by Newport for everyone. So my plan was go to the awards, go back to the kitchen to check on everyone, to check on the team and maybe close up and all that, and then go to the after party. And then turns out like when I got that award, the first thing I did when I left was drive all the way to Taqueria Franco and bring the award to everyone else because it's theirs. I mean, like, really, it's the team's because, I mean, getting a Bib Gourmand is...
What was the
great.
reaction of the team?
They were cheering, of course, and we were full that time. So when I went in with the award, everyone just went, yay, it was really nice. It was so nice. But I think for me, kasi it was very important that I brought the award right away because it was really theirs. Bib Gourmand is great food at affordable prices or more approachable prices.
More casual.
And more casual. And, even if you're casual and your prices are approachable, but your food's not great,
Yeah.
so it has to be a balance, right? So that was for me, that's why it's important because they were the ones who worked on making sure that every day we make great food.
Pag sinabi natin Filipino food or Filipino cuisine, pumapasok agad sa isip natin ang mga pagkain na tulad ng lumpia, sisig, or adobo. Naalala din natin ang mga lugar tulad ng Pampanga na may traditional and conservative cuisine, o kaya naman Iloilo na kilala bilang food haven ng Philippines dahil sa mga diverse na pagkain dito, or Metro Manila for its unique and innovative Filipino food selection. Pero merong isang probinsya na less than 40 kilometers away lang sa Manila ang meron din rich history, diverse food, at innovative dishes na hindi masyadong nabibigyan ng pansin pagdating sa Filipino cuisine. Let's discover the hidden culinary gems of this province, Cavite. Catch all the episodes of Flavors of the Region on our YouTube channel, Bitesized.PH.
So after the Bib Gourmand was announced, how did the day-to-day operations of Taqueria Franco change?
The next day, like, reservations just went double. Like, we were so full that because before we would get full on the weekends. Usually we make two turns, or sometimes on some weekends it gets fuller than most because, like, you know, there's a line or whatever. But this was just crazy. Like, there was a time that we ran out of tortillas at 8:30.
Wow.
Yeah, at 8:30 on a Friday, I think, or
That's a
Thursday or Friday. It wasn't even a weekend. It was
That's boom.
like, it was like literally overnight. People just started coming. So it's a great marketing tool. It was a great it was the best way to make people to get people to know about us, to reach a wider audience.
You've worked in Michelin star restaurants prior
Yeah,
to having
yeah.
your Michelin Bib Gourmand. Has it ever crossed your mind to chase the star?
Of course, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't think about it, because it's great. I mean, it's also something that kind of validates you as a chef. Yeah, of course. You think about that, but thinking about it, you cannot be too obsessive, because once you get too obsessive and the only thing you do is for the stars, it becomes kind of inauthentic. And you might just lose yourself. So, you know, one thing I've learned with Mr. Robuchon was he and his brand, he was always true to his identity as Joel Robuchon and what he's known for. So everywhere you go in all his establishments, everywhere, it had the same feel, it had the same soul, it had the same core, you know. So, and he never lost that identity. Like I can, like, most likely, like, it's already like a brand identity at that point, you know, for him. I don't know now that he's gone. I don't know how if the culture inside the whole organization has changed, but I know for a fact that there's still a lot of people who are running his restaurants who used to be my chefs, who used to be like a sous chef, they're still with him. They're still within the yeah.
Basically, Taqueria Franco, based on your story, started like, you know, I would say less pressured, more of like a fun thing, a vibe.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel pressured with serving your guests right now, since you've already had the Bib Gourmand?
Yes, the pressure really is keeping up the standards, especially now that the demand there's more demand and it's busier. So, you know, systems can break down and people can get burned out, you know. It's just the pressure is really just kind of like making sure that we keep to the level that we are known for. But more than that, I don't want to think about it, because really, like, we did with what we were doing before, we got there. The aim is just really to keep at it, to keep at our standards,
To be at that level.
to still be at that level.
Thanks. So, chef, one dish in your menu that would describe what Taqueria Franco is.
Ooh,
What's that? What's that dish?
that dish would probably be shoot, there's a lot, but like, let's say, for people to really understand, it would be the lamb bourguignon birria and the steak frites taco. That's it. Like, those two.
Did you hear that? Okay.
Yeah, and then those two, because really, when you think about it, what is Taqueria Franco? Taqueria Franco is a French, it's a taco place. It's a taqueria with like French leaning, with a French leaning menu, and they're like how? I'm like, it's a taco, but you put steak frites, so you still have your steak,
Put
your
French flavors in it.
yeah. So there.
So what's the biggest difference between the food scene right now in the Philippines with, international food scene for you? Are we already at that level? I mean, Michelin came in here last year. I guess we're on the direction of,
Yes,
the
I
right
think-
direction going there.
I think with talent and creativity and concepts, we are at that level. I think maybe the biggest difference between us and places in Southeast Asia and maybe in the West is probably our access to ingredients. That is where we are having a lot of difficulty, because our access to good local ingredients is not as easy.
Yes.
It's
Very limited.
Very limited. And it's also because of our supply chain.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get. There's a lot of good produce in Baguio. But why is it that it's so hard for us to get the good produce here in Manila? Supply chain, infrastructure.
Yes.
It's easier. There was a time in Metronome, it was easier for me to get herbs from France than to get rice from the Benguet farmers, from the heritage rice from the Ifugao farmers. Why is that? It's just infrastructure. It's nakakahiya for me. It's like, wow, it was so easy to be like, I need 2 packs of Chervil, I need 4 packs of Tarragon, da, 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 da. I place the order now. 5 days later, it arrives nicely done, nicely packed. It's so hard for me to they are willing, they have the product.
Yes.
It's just getting here. It's such an effort, and you have people who are helping the Ifugao farmers to get their heritage grains to us. But it's so like,
It's hard.
oh, it's not professionalized enough. It's
Yes.
not,
Totoo.
like when I was working in London, we would place our orders in the afternoon of that day. Place our orders in the afternoon of all the things that we need from France. Give it to our sous chef. The next day, when we arrive at work at 8 a.m., everything is there.
Wow. So okay. That is a good supply
Exactly.
chain, yeah.
It's so
Magandang
easy.
infrastructure dun,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
It comes by
okay.
train.
Yeah.
So imagine that.
That is amazing to hear.
from the other continent, from the continent
Yeah.
to
A different.
The
That's from a
UK.
different country.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Here, Baguio is how many hours away?
4 at least. At most, baka 4.
Why is it so hard for me to get tomatoes from there, zucchini, or why is it so hard for us to find our local vegetables, the vegetables that are being used in Ilocos? Why is it hard for me to get our heritage, our heirloom tomatoes? How come it's easier for me to get lemongrass from Thailand rather than lemongrass from Butuan?
Yeah. Totoo. Majority of our stuff,
Yeah.
in my opinion, is our food system is leaning towards imports,
Exactly.
which is really, really
Yeah.
not sustainable.
Exactly.
Not just for the restaurant, but also
Yeah.
for agriculture.
Yeah. It's also hard to compare ourselves to
Another country.
to places like France and the UK, because they've had these systems for a long time. But I'm not comparing. It's just more of like setting examples that it can be done,
Can be
that
done,
it
yeah.
should be done.
Yes.
It should be a priority. It should be a priority by the government if they're the ones, because they're the ones who encourage to bring Michelin in.
Yes.
For us to be able to sustain this, then there should be then things like agricultural infrastructure
Yeah.
should be looked into.
Restaurants need it.
Yeah, restaurant and everyone else needs it.
Everyone else needs it, yeah.
For
The
this to be
industry needs it.
for this to become sustainable, and for millions that was spent to bring Michelin in to be worth it, it should. My hope is for it to have a trickle down effect to our agricultural industry, and to have a positive impact on the agriculture industry, because at this point, maybe because there's more demand, then they will look into that and set up proper support systems for farmers.
Definitely for
a
farmers.
lot of the support systems for the farmers come from the private sector.
Agree. I think agriculture
Agriculture
in our
should
country
be-
is one of the most unsupported sector, which is
which is for me is like, I think we need to rethink that, because we're an archipelago.
Agree.
It's not only farming, it's fisheries. We should look into that, because that's also big business when it's managed properly.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah, we prefer to import. Everything's imported.
Well, it's a lot of it was
It's a
also like
politics.
political.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
So-
people who hold the power will,
That's another
abuse it.
podcast for
Yes.
another topic for a different podcast.
yeah.
It's much. I mean, but I had this guest one time here, John Sherwin Felix. He was right that food is political. That's why I like talking
It is,
about
it is.
because as I said, yun nga, yung sa agriculture is really, really bad. We've been able to talk to not just chefs but also people in agriculture. They really need tons of support. They really need tons of support on it. Which is a good thing, I think, right now for a lot of high-end restaurants or even local restaurants. They're really supporting local produce.
Yeah.
A lot of our top restaurants are actually trying to be sustainable. Last time Chef Shelley was here, so he was talking about that 90% of his menu is local.
Yeah.
Which is nice to hear.
Yeah, it's good to hear. It's just, it's good that chefs are kind of like putting that in the forefront of what they're doing. But support from these top restaurants is not enough to sustain
Yeah.
the industry. I was talking to um, a fishmonger from Mindanao, Cagayan de Oro. She works with, I mean, she supplies like chefs here, um, and there's so much good, beautiful produce, fish from southern Mindanao. So they pack it properly. They she's taught the fishermen, the fishing communities how to pack properly and ice properly and all these things. And then they send it through cargo. It gets to the airport and we don't have a chiller, a cold storage facility in the airport.
With this.
So, even if it's packed properly and it's very fresh and it's very good quality, it stays in the tarmac for a few hours under the heat. It's gonna deteriorate.
Changes the quality.
Changes the quality.
Yeah.
So, it's even that. So all these things.
Yeah.
It's really, really sad. Because I was in Bangkok lately and the produce is beautiful.
Yes.
And their access to produce from different places in Thailand.
I think Thailand is one of the best. Thailand and Vietnam, they actually have a really good system in terms of food.
Exactly.
Culture.
Yeah.
We should look to that.
Because you know their governments have realized early on that you know food can become soft power as well.
Yes, agree.
Food is a form of diplomacy as well. You know.
Now, the culinary world in the Philippines is slowly changing. Now, more women are leading their own restaurants and concepts. But how much has it actually changed, and what do you think still needs to happen before a woman heading a top kitchen in Manila stops being a headline news and becomes normal?
I still dream of the day wherein it's not Asia's best female chef, but just best chef. You know. But I understand the purpose of giving it its own category because for the longest time, I mean, you know, we were in the background.
Kitchens dominated by
Professional kitchens
professional kitchens
are
dominated.
dominated by men. But these men learn from their mothers, you know, grandmothers. So there's still a long ways to go, and it's not just the kitchen. It's everywhere. I always say it's equity. You know, it's more than equality at this point. It's equity to be able to be given the same opportunities. And I think there's a lot of recent changes that have been happening. There's a lot more women in the kitchen now. There was a time in Metronome where 98% of my team were women. Not by choice. It's just that they were the ones who lasted that long, you know. I think there's a long ways to go, yes. I think we're taking some steps in the right direction. There's more representation right now. I am very happy that it is being celebrated, being able to, and it is being recognized because I think it's important that these recognitions are here right now so that little by little we pave the way into real change. I remember being very uncomfortable with the whole like talking about being a woman in the kitchen and being a professional and being a woman and just kind of like pushing the agenda of like I'm a woman in a male dominated space, and that I was quite uncomfortable because I didn't want to seem like a angry feminist, what they call, which, I mean, yes, we should be angry about this because there are a lot of things that need to be discussed. It's not only just for career, it's not just the kitchen, it's women's rights and a whole lot of things that is another podcast, I think. But so I was talking to somebody. I was talking to my cousin. And I said, like, sometimes I kind of feel uncomfortable with the fact that, being a woman is me being a woman is being pushed into the forefront, because I feel like, am I in this position because of my gender, or do I really deserve this because of my merit? You know, and so he was just like, look at, I mean, look at your body of work. But I'm like, why can't we just like not really push the woman agenda? Like, for me, I don't want to be one of those like I don't want to seem like I'm taking advantage.
Yes.
He was like, um advocating for yourself at this point is not only for you, because yes, the opportunities were presented to you, and there's um I had the privilege of being able to do these things, and I know that not everyone would have been able to do what I did.
Yes.
But you should use that. And he goes, you should use that privilege and that platform for the people who are marginalized, for the women who need that, who need that support.
A voice for them.
A voice for them, representation, and to be able to create opportunities as well, which I think is very important. And to kind of just remind women to
Go for it.
to go for it, like really to that they deserve that space.
As a woman powerhouse in the kitchen, say. I like this. I like to call it that.
Yeah.
That sounds nice. That sounds smart. I don't know. So, do you have any message to young Filipino chefs who'd like to get into the professional kitchen or in this industry?
Yeah. To the young women in the industry who want to get into this industry, don't be scared. Don't get intimidated. Don't be scared. We have a lot of innate qualities in us that are very useful in the kitchen. Our endurance, our our being able to multitask, and just just go for it. Really, it's really like this whole talk on like, oh, it's so male dominated. So they're people.
Yeah.
I'm a person. So long as we have boundaries, doesn't matter who I work with. I'm not intimidated by the fact that there'll probably be if like there are 6 people in the room, I'll probably be the only woman there. I'd like for it to change. And I think it is now up to the younger generation to step into that and bring about more of that change. Women before me have paved the way. Like Margarita, other chefs like other women who have done this before me, like in the Philippines, Mirna Sigismundo, Glenda Barreto, these are the ones who started. Like for me, the ones whom I knew that they were in the food business and they cooked for a living. They've paved that way. They've given me the idea. And I saw Margarita take it to another level. And I would like for the younger ones to make me a stepping stone for them to reach greater heights. The first thing they need to do is not to get intimidated or discouraged by the fact that they'll probably be the minority in that room. And they have to work on that so that in the next generation, we won't be the minority in that room. Yeah, there.
Well said, Chef. Well said. Maraming salamat. Thank you so
you.
much, Chef Miko Calo, for joining us here on Grab a Bite podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Episode. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Amazing, great talk. So, Chef Miko, would you like to, do you have anything to plug? Maybe your new pop-ups coming up soon, or maybe new projects.
New projects. I'm working on opening another restaurant, which is gonna be my flagship, but I can't really talk about that yet. New pop-ups still in the works.
No Coquette Part 2? Not yet?
Not yet. Maybe, I don't know, or maybe it's something else, but yeah, there are things that I'm working on.
So we'll just have to find
about it.
So we'll just have to find out.
Yeah.
Do you have
Thank
any
you
socials
so much yes.
that you like to plug in?
Well, none. I mean, like, I have my Instagram account. Usually, when I have new projects, I put it up on my Instagram account and other socials, I guess. But none really. I mean, yeah. But visit Taqueria Franco.
Okay.
You're gonna have a fun time.
I'll definitely visit.
The cocktails are great as well.
Any recommendations for cocktails? Yeah.
My personal favorite is the Sangre de Franco because it's spicy and savory.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
But that's it for us here in Grab a Bite. I'll see you again soon, guys. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to follow all our socials at Bitesized.PH para updated kayo sa new episodes namin. See you in the next episode, foodies. Bye!